Hey guys, how's it going? It's Frank here from Altcoin Buzz, and today is going to be a bit of a mishmash. I got a feeling this is going to be a long video because I spend so much time every day either trading or learning about new cryptocurrencies or communicating with you guys on the Altcoin Buzz Twitter over here. And by the way guys, if you haven't followed us, we are Altcoin Buzz IO on Twitter. And here we often post about coins, sometimes before the YouTube video, sometimes after the YouTube video. And of course, we post updates on the coins which we're fans of and which people are talking about. In any case, today we're going to go over some of the coins which I bought. Most of these coins are recommendations from Shash, our CEO, who does a lot of research on low cap gems, trying to see which ones have the most potential, the most growth potential. And he was so on point with his last calls with sharing, Harmony 1 protocol, with Safe Haven, with Uptrend. So, I missed out on the last batch of altcoins. I was still waiting for Bitcoin to get into a weekly bull market, which in hindsight was kind of a pity, a bit of a mistake, because Bitcoin had already had a nice rally from 3,500 to 10,000, and it was only natural that altcoins would rally while Bitcoin was ranging in that range. So I just put too much emphasis on Bitcoin, but now that Bitcoin is in an official bull market on the weekly time frame, I'm much more bullish on alts and the alt season. I think the alt season is just halfway through, if that. Bitcoin is still a long way from 20K, so I've been filling up my bags. So these are the altcoin bags which I got. I got QNT. This was a really nice call. So just briefly, QNT is the Quant Network. I've actually spent a lot of time researching this coin, and I made a 30-minute review video on the channel. If you just search for why Quant Network will be massive, you'll find that. But anyway, what I was looking at this chart was, this was actually a couple weeks ago. The price was at 61,400 sats when I got in. And basically this was what I was looking at. I saw this massive sort of consolidation structure, which has the potential for a real crazy blowout if we get above this. But of course, at that time, we were in the middle of this structure, sort of approaching the bottom, and I saw a previous support. Now, guys, with these altcoins, especially the ones which have, anything below sort of $1 billion market cap, it's not ideal for TA, but that doesn't mean that you can't have any idea of where it might bounce or find support. So basically what I saw is I saw this previous support here from the 18th of June, and then I saw that we were really grinding this level. We were really creating a base here. This is basically a bottoming pattern where, we have all these wicks here. Let me zoom in a little bit here. We have all these wicks pushing us up from this level. Really, the bulls trying to show the bears that they're not going to have any of that. And then, we had this candle close below here, not great, but then we had a push up, and then we had another push up, and I got in, about 6,300 sats. And, it was absolutely possible that we would come down further and, test the bottom of this consolidation structure. And I did actually have some stops over here at the sort of 55,000 sat level. But that being said, I had some of my position which I was just holding no matter what. Unfortunately, we had a nice, very nice big move up here. I actually sold about 40% of my position at the 93,000 sat level. And again, with these altcoins, it's like, I didn't sell here because I was like, oh, this is going to be the top, and I knew that it was going to crash. I sold for a couple of reasons. The first reason was that Bitcoin was at about 11,900, and it was really testing that 12K range. And I knew that if Bitcoin broke out, a lot of altcoins would suffer, especially in terms of Bitcoin value. That was number one. Number two is that we were close to the 10,000 sat level, which is, kind of a psychological resistance. Number three, we were close to the top of this consolidation structure. At least from some perspective, we were nearing it. Admittedly, we could have gone a lot higher and still been at the top of it. So I just saw these factors. Oh yeah, and then of course, number four was, if your altcoin goes up like 50% in, 2-3 weeks, it makes sense to take a little bit of profit, And right now what I've done is, as I say, I took about 40% profit of the position. I've already bought back some. I have more buy orders over here. If they don't get filled, it's no big deal. I have a nice position. I'm ready for another big move up. So that's QNT. Now, when it comes to Digibyte, the reason I got it was for this technical analysis over here. So as you can see, we had this really nice setup, this nice triangle. I talked about this in this video on the 10th of August. And I started buying in at the 280 sat level and the 270 sat level. And let's have a look at the DGB chart to see what happened there. So as you can see, we had a nice breakout over here. Now, we have come down, and we're coming down, it looks like, to test this previous sort of 260 sat level. We may not get there. Now, I unfortunately did get stopped out. First of all, I took a tiny bit of profit at 300, and actually I got a tiny bit of profit at pretty much the top, 317 sats. But really, I only took like 10% profit of the position. And the reason for that was twofold. One was that, I had already made a sort of, like a 20% profit on the position. And I wanted to secure my profit. So I got in at the sort of 270 sat level. And I didn't want to stop everything out over here. So I figured, if I sell some over here, then I don't have to stop everything out over here. And I can just hold on to that. So what's happened now is, unfortunately, I stopped out of about 90% of my position, but in profit, right? So it's very important to stop out in profit. And I only made about a 5% profit on that position. And right now what I'm doing is I'm waiting for Bitcoin to sort of consolidate a little bit. I have a feeling that Digibyte will pump when it's clear that Bitcoin has sort of been going up and down for a little bit. Right now, Bitcoin just broke out of 12,000. It's at 12,350 as we speak. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin makes another move higher towards the sort of 13K range. And if it does, I would be a little bit surprised if Digibyte also made a big move up. But in any case, if you're holding Digibyte, I wish you the best of luck. There is a decent chance that we will bounce from here. That being said, I am looking to buy back in if we get back to, well, let me just show you this range over here. If we come down now to this blue box, this was my previous support over here. We actually almost touched that over here with this candle wick coming down to the 235. But if we just take this out and now put a more sort of general support, I would say anywhere within this region over here is going to be an interesting support. And if we come down to here and Bitcoin starts ranging again, this would be a very interesting new buy entry. So those two were based in large part on technical analysis, but then of course, swap and xDai, there was absolutely zero TA involved. And these were really nice calls. So I bought these a couple days before August 15th. So here is the stake USDT graph. On August 15th, you can see this is August 14th. Yeah, it was about 13th, 14th. I got in just about sort of $5. And we had a really nice big move up here. So I hope you guys are following us on Twitter or following our YouTube channel. It's not like we haven't talked about these coins before they pumped. A lot of people will start talking about coins after they pumped, and fair enough. If they're exciting, if they have great developments, why not? But, we posted this video about TrustSwap on August 14th. We got in before the big move up. And of course, let's be honest, let's disclose what we have. I have pretty much all of these cryptocurrencies over here that were mentioned. I know our CEO does. I know a couple of other people in the team probably do. And, people sometimes say, oh, and by the way, guys, this scam stuff is really annoying. I know it's really frustrating to see these scam giveaways, but there's nothing much we can do about that. That's under control of YouTube, so, it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, so some people sometimes say, oh yeah, you're just pumping these coins because you have bags, you're holding them, and and you want everyone to buy more after you've bought them. And it's like, well, okay, that's one way of looking at it. But then if we didn't buy these coins and we were talking about them, and we were excited about them, it's like we wouldn't have our money where our mouth is, right? So would you rather hear about coins from people who have actually bought those coins, who are putting their money where their mouth is, or people who are just, interested in it, but don't really believe in it that much. So they're just saying it because, the audience wants to hear about it, whatever. I would much rather hear from someone who's actually bought it themselves. And all right, if I pump their bags, I pump their bags, whatever. If they're giving me good information or good tips to potentially act on, of course, this is not financial advice, then, I like that, but to each their own. Tell me, would you prefer hearing about coins from people who haven't bought them or from people who actually have bought them? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, then of course we have xDai, and again, this is just a magic chart. So xDai stake, as you can see, we got here August 14th, 15th. I got in about the $5 level, and this just absolutely exploded. So if we go down to the 1 hour level, it's tempting to do TA on here. I draw these lines knowing full well that they mean next to nothing with these really small coins. But that being said, I know some people are using these. If you have no idea when to sell, it can give you some indication of where you might want to sell. Now, I personally have only sold 10% of my position, pretty much at just below the level where I sold sort of just at the $10.5 level. And I didn't sell there because of TA. I sold there because I just, I had basically 3x'd my position. I bought some on August 14th, but I also bought some about a week or two before that, a tiny amount. And the way I see this chart right now is I'm not just holding it forever, if we go, if we do another go up to 14.89. Like this will be a sort of potential psychological resistance at the $15 level, in addition to a potential resistance at this diagonal line. But again, I'm not selling a lot here. I might sell like another 5–10% of the position. Then again, also if we go to the $20 level, got some sells in the 19.49 to $20 level. And again, this is not because I think we're going to top there. It's because first of all, if we have a massive wick going up, then, which happens a lot, then you can very easily have like a 15 to 20% pullback. But really the reason is that, if we get to this $20 level, my position will have doubled, and I will essentially want to be taking small amounts of profit. Like, although I do believe that stake and xDai have real potential to generate, multi-hundred million dollar market caps, that doesn't mean that, I'm comfortable having, 20% of my portfolio in these coins. So as the percentage of my portfolio increases of these coins, I take small amounts of profit. And, in terms of purely of TA, this is kind of an interesting time to buy back. And I was tempted to buy back, but like really I didn't sell in order to buy back, at a tiny loss. I sold because I'm trying to take away some of the risk from my portfolio. And it's important to think about why you're buying and selling, right? Is it purely because of a TA play where, you think based on price analysis that you're going to have a good entry point, or is it because you have too much risk in your portfolio, you have too many volatile coins? Because as wonderful as it is to have these huge gains, going from $5 to $11, it also has huge drawbacks right after. Right after that, we got a 30% dump. Then we got another 30% dump. Right now, another 30% dump. If you have 50% of your portfolio in this, it's pretty stressful. Like, I'm not saying I have 50%, but even having 10%, which I do right now, it's a little bit intense, and I would like to be able to take some risk off the table. And also, another reason, guys, to take profit is to make up for your original investment, right? So the profit I took, it didn't quite make up for my original investment, but it makes me more comfortable. And if we have another dip to come back to sort of the $8 level, I'd probably buy even more, to be honest. But yeah, basically I'm pretty comfortable whichever direction we go. So this is stake. Now let's have a look at TrustSwap, which I'm personally even more excited about. This is probably the cryptocurrency I'm most excited about right now. So I said I had about 10% in stake. I think it's actually a bit less. I think it's about 7%, but I have about 10% in swap. And similarly here, I took tiny profits, sort of just a little bit below this level, and but I'm holding most of my position, and I'm really excited to see what will come of this. You can see right now from this channel, it's actually a pretty nice channel. It's a hard diagonal channel. Actually, if we draw it like this, it becomes even more diagonal. There we go. I don't think that we'll necessarily see massive resistance coming up here. If ChainLink is anything to go by, here, I'll show you what happened with ChainLink when we had a diagonal channel like this. So have a look at this. This was the ChainLink chart. From the 29th of July, we were at $6.8. This diagonal channel, it had several resistances at the top level over there, and then a couple of touches on support here. Now, it's not a horrible idea to take profit at the top of the channel, but just to show you guys how sometimes these channels, you think that you're at the top of the range, and then just bam, we went from 11.6 to like almost $14, 20% move directly after that. So, that's what happens. That's what can happen with these cryptocurrencies, with these altcoins. That's why, don't pay too much attention to TA when you're selling these. Really only use TA with these small caps to look at levels which might be interesting to take profit at, mainly for the reason that you want to take out risk from your investment, right? Where you've made already a big profit, you want to take out your initial investment, or you want to take a portion of it out, and then there might be some reason to think that at the top of this channel we would find some resistance. But so for example, I have some take profit at the 1.49. I took, the last time I took profit was actually, it was quite a bit below this. I took it at $1 level because I got in much earlier at sort of $0.5 level. So every time I double my winnings basically, or at least get another multiple of winnings, I'm interested in taking profits. And if the last place I took profits was at $1, the next point I'm interested in taking profits is at this level. And if this happens to line up with the top of this channel, it happens to be at the $1.5 level, which is potential resistance, why not take a little bit of profit? It doesn't hurt. But really, guys, TA can only do so much for these altcoins, which have really low market caps. But guys, really, in terms of swap, I am much more interested in the fundamentals than I am in the technicals. First of all, I'm really kicking myself in the knees because I remember making this tweet. I talked about the exclusive insights, and I remember when I made this, I was like, yeah, these look like interesting coins to get into. You know, he was talking about future updates which were coming. I was really excited about both Uptrend, which he mentioned, and TrustSwap, and both these coins just went absolutely mental a few weeks after. You know, I'm happy I got in for some of the big move, but TrustSwap, so this tweet was on the 30th of July, and again, he was mentioning Uptrend and Upswap. So if I had have bought this, and I really would have liked to have bought it on the 30th of July, Jesus Christ, look, it's all the way back here, July 31st. You could have gotten in at 0.23. That would have been a 429%. And this is only the beginning, you know. I'm not selling at this, you know, even though it's gone up like crazy. I'm just taking a tiny bit of profit. I still love this cryptocurrency. I think that the thing that he's trying to solve is really interesting. Before we get to that, just have a look at Uptrend, 30th of July. So look at the last 14 days, we've got 800%. You know, it was 7 days before. So let's look on the 30th of July. Price was $0.0044, and right now we are at $0.34. So just an absolutely insane gains. And Uptrend is a really interesting blockchain social network. They have loads of interaction. Admittedly, a lot of the commenters are just leaving comments in order to get Uptrend points, because if you interact on the platform, you get rewarded with Uptrend. But you know, they've had recent developments to try to amend that and to get higher quality content, and they're constantly updating. And I really like Jeff Kirdakis. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that Kirdakis. In any case, he seems like a solid guy, and you know, he had this great idea with TrustSwap. He's really good at marketing. You know, I come from a marketing background, and so let's have a quick look at TrustSwap now. So Box Mining, who also has a YouTube channel, you can check him out. He has some pretty good content too. And he's explained, he's really into DeFi especially, and he's explained TrustSwap over here, or at least David Lancaster has on his website. So TrustSwap is the next evolution of decentralized finance transactions, solving major problems with subscriptions, split payments, and cross-chain token swaps. So that sounds a little bit complicated, but basically a cross-chain smart swap system is used to wrap any token or coin like Bitcoin, Litecoin, etc. into an ERC20. And then after that, a trustless decentralized escrow service at the core of TrustSwap provides an easy way to split payments into timed batches. So for example, you know, you have Netflix and you have Spotify and all these applications which require yearly payments. Have you ever realized or noticed how crypto doesn't have that yet? There's no sort of system which is set up where it's like, okay, well, this is going to send this payments to you every month or every year. And this is very important for the service industry. So this is one of the things that they're doing. The thing which gets me even more excited is this. So the initial application of the TrustSwap is within the ICO and cryptocurrency investment space, where token distribution needs to be split into tranches. So what happens here is that, let's say you're buying into a private sale and the founders only want to give you the tokens like a few every month for a year, for example, so that you know you don't dump them all in the market. Well, this would be one use case. But then furthermore, what happens is that, you know, often you have founders and they say, yeah, we will do this by this time, we'll do that by that time. But then, you know, they can't really be held accountable. If they fail, and there's nothing you can do about it. But with this type of ICO, what can happen is that they will only get their tokens. So the team will only get the tokens once they have achieved certain milestones. In other words, it's creating a lot more trust that they will achieve those milestones, because they're only getting their tokens once they have crossed these milestones. Then in terms of the founders and team, of course, we have Jeff Kirdakis, who's the CEO, and also the founder of Uptrend and the CEO of Uptrend. Then we have Adam Barlam, who's the CTO and developer and founder behind the project Bravo Coin. And he also previously worked as a senior architect at GoDaddy and Intel. And then in terms of the advisors, I like to see when they have YouTube personalities who are as advisors. You know, these guys, Michael and Ivan, they're not just, you know, making videos. These are really smart guys. They know a lot about the cryptocurrency industry. I've been listening to both of them for years now. I remember their first videos, they were, you know, a little bit amateurish, which of course is normal at the beginning, but they're both very smart guys. They're both sort of quite tech oriented, and, you know, they have large followings. So it's great to have these kind of people as advisors on your team. So yeah, anyway, that's TrustSwap. But guys, this video is going to get really long if I go through all the coins that I bought. So I might continue those on another video. The other things I wanted to touch on was this. I said, if you don't have a trailing stop loss or haven't taken any profits on your Link position, you definitely weren't there in 2018. This was on August 16th, 2020. So guys, this was when Link was at $20. I must admit, I was really annoyed because I was thinking of, I was definitely going to short Link at the $20 level. My plan was to short sort of between 19.8 and 20.1 for the reason being that we might see sort of a breakout, like a fake out like this. And then I was going to stop out approximately 20.2. But, I wasn't at the computer at the time. And, we had this massive drop. And, the thing is, like, okay, some people are saying, yeah, we might go back to 20 and go higher. All right, we might. But when we have a parabolic move up like this, let's just go to the 4-hour time frame. The 1 hour is admittedly a little bit of a low time frame to be looking at. But on the 4-hour, you can see this candle is super bearish. Now, the reason is that we've had this massive move up. And while this might be a pullback and a sort of natural correction before the next move up, it's kind of unlikely. If you look at the MACD here, this is exactly what you'd be looking for if you were looking to short Link. You look for a parabolic move up, and then you look for a very clear loss in momentum. You see this histogram is ticking down here. And this histogram is much lower than we've seen at any previous point. This is a very clear, very obvious loss in momentum. And I'm personally going to be looking to short Link as we get to the approximately $18.5 level. It's not like something which I love doing. I prefer longing coins, to be honest, and especially like getting into these altcoins early. But, when the hype is just overhyped, basically, when something has gone up just way too much, especially a big cap coin like this, I just personally find it a little bit ridiculous. And, it's a great solution. The fundamentals are solid, but that doesn't mean that, you just buy like a crazy person. I mean, like, all right, I'm sorry if you guys did really buy recently, and especially if you bought the $20 range. I feel a bit sorry for you right now. But hey, maybe you'll prove me wrong. Maybe you'll go above 20 and you'll be laughing at me after this video. All right, guys. But anyway, that's been it from me for today. Let me know what you thought of today's video. Do you like the sort of combination of TA and FA? Are there any other coins you'd like me to cover? Do you want me to talk a bit more about these other coins which I bought? I'd be happy to do that in my next video. All right, guys. With that being said, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.